Now this is a curious little device. Stay tuned and I'll tell you all about it. Good morning, everybody. It's Stephen here for Bland Designs and the Idiot Quilter, and welcome to my weekly vlog for December the 5th, 2022, a vlog number 293, only 20 days to Christmas Day. Are you ready? Don't you hate that when people ask you, are you ready for Christmas? No, I'm not. Bah, humbug. But you always turn around and say, oh yeah, I'm getting there. Oh, there's so much to do. Yeah, right. Okay, pressure, pressure, pressure. I am now going to apply lip balm. There, nice and fresh. I don't usually use lip balm, but this came in one of the Christmas boxes that I bought and that I revealed one of them on Stephen and Walter Live yesterday. And if you want to see what I got, the first few gifts, I haven't opened them all up yet. Check that out. Also, I've started opening up the Missouri Star quilt box, and you've probably already seen videos about this, but Stephanie Stitches and I are doing a collab. We both bought the boxes, and yesterday we recorded ourselves with, we were together, but we were on Zoom, opening up the first 8 gifts in the box, and that will go on to our YouTube channels. I'm stumbling over my words. I need more lip balm. Yes. I wonder if there's any drugs in this. Anyways, yes, we are going to post that video that we recorded on Sunday morning on Wednesday on both of our channels, so you can check out the first 8 gifts in the Missouri Star quilt box and our reactions to those gifts. And that's all I'm going to say right now. So yeah, let's jump into current projects. Okay, so I made this. Don't mind the top. I must have put my hand on the top and kind of squished it down before I took the picture. I am not good at staging things for pictures. I have come to the conclusion. However, what is this? It's called the Cube Bag, and it's a zippered bag, and you can see it has a zipper that goes almost all the way around, 3 sides of it. Be great for storing things. Somebody suggested yesterday on Stephen and Walter Live a lunch bag, although it's a pretty big bag, as you see. I'll show you the inside. There's what it looks like inside. It's a good size bag. Now, I'm not happy with the way this turned out. This is going to be a gift for my sister, because it was my sister who posted this link on Facebook to this pattern. She said I might want to make it. I don't know if that's code for I'd like you to make it and give it to me or not. She'll never admit to that. But I have made it. I'm going to give it to her. The problem was I won't make another one, at least not from this particular pattern. And tomorrow I'll tell you more about that and why, because that's more suited for my Idiot Quilter vlog than it is for this one. But needless to say, I would not recommend buying this pattern. But if you want to make something like this, there are tons of patterns. I suggest you go to Bags by Annie. They probably have a pattern for this, and Bags by Annie are excellent patterns. Absolutely excellent. But anyways, I made it. It's cute. The fabric, I had this sitting on my shelf. I really like the fabric, and I have more of it. And I'm sure as long as I don't point out a couple of the things I'm not happy with to my sister, she'll never notice, I hope. But anyways, I think it would be great for storing things like, you know, if you're a knitter, it'd be great for knitters. My sister's a cross stitcher. Maybe she has that in mind when she saw this design. I don't know. Good for storing fabric. Yeah, good for lots of things. But as I said, the pattern itself was not well written. Okay, so that takes me then to the YouTube channel of the week. And this is a channel I have reviewed in the past. This is done by a friend of mine. She's actually the daughter to a friend of mine, a lady that I used to teach with for many years, who lives just around the corner from me. It's ironic. Never see her except if we're out shopping somewhere, occasionally run into her, and yeah, I only live 2 blocks away. But anyways, her daughter is big into art. She is an excellent artist. She makes a living from doing art, and she has a YouTube channel called Studio of M&M, and you might want to check it out, especially if you're into artwork. But at this time of the year, we're all looking for things to buy people we know for Christmas. And there's probably an artist or a budding artist in your family or amongst your friends somewhere. So she did a little video segment on best art supplies of the year. And I would really trust her opinion because she knows what she's talking about. So here's my review of that little segment from her YouTube channel. This week's YouTube channel is one by a lady who lives in my neighborhood, and she is an artist. And I thought I would show this because you're probably looking for ideas for Christmas, for gifts, for the budding artist or professional artist in your home, or somebody that you know. It is called The Best Art Supplies of the Year. It's by Studio of MM. And she gives a rundown of some of the things that she uses, and she is a professional artist, that she finds very, very helpful. There's quite a few things here, and I think it will generate ideas for possible Christmas presents for, not just artists, but people who do any kind of arty, crafty kind of things. Now, some of the items are a little bit on the pricey side, and she mentions that, but there are a lot of really cool and unique items here, which actually might extend over into other areas of people's interest as well. So check out The Best Art Supplies of the Year by Studio of MM. So you'll find a link to that segment in the show notes below. You will also find a link for yesterday's Stephen and Walter Live. We got talking about something that might be a little controversial, and makes us all cringe a little bit to even suggest that we might have a negative attitude, and that's to giving at this time of the year. And I don't mean giving gifts to friends and family. I mean giving to charities, and some astonishing things that we have found out about some of these charities. So we talked a little bit about that yesterday. Don't hate us for what we say about those. It was based on research. So anyways, there's that. There is a link for Craft and Chat, which is coming up this Wednesday, December the 7th, starting at 1 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. I hope you can join me for that. And those of you that are on my mailing list have already got the Zoom link. But for everybody else, the Zoom link is in the show notes. There's also the link to the Sew Craft with Me, which is the same link all the time. It's a permanent posting in my show notes. And I don't know if I'll do one of those this week because I'm doing Craft and Chat. But anyways, anytime you're feeling a little lonely and you're in your sewing room or crafting room and you're doing something and you want a little company, click on the link and see if I'm here. If I'm here, yay, we'll get together. Okay, so, and there's other links to other videos I put out in the past week. So let's go to looking out my mirror today. My mirror. Oh, I forgot something here that I was going to show you. See, I didn't write it in my notes, so I forget these things. These pretty fabrics, they're all batiks, and off to Ultimate Sewing on Saturday. I really didn't need anything, but Walter decided he needed some fabric, and that because he's been making these gorgeous tote bags, and they are couture. And again, yesterday we talked about those on Stephen and Walter Live, and we have shown them on past episodes of that as well, and he's still working on some, so we'll probably show those in the next week as well when he gets those done. But anyways, while we're in there, I just can't go into a fabric store and not buy something. I saw these were 2 packages of batik fat quarters for $35 for each package. That's not a bad price, and I love batiks. And this kind of color range right here, I don't really have a lot of, and that's my excuse, and I'm sticking to it, so I picked them up. But moving on to looking outside today. Now, of course, right now this is going to be a little gray. The day is still dark, so the night vision part of the Ring camera that I'm taking this on has gone into effect. And well, this is what the day is looking like, and I'm not sure what the forecast is. Let's take a look at what the Weather Channel is saying. So, according to the Weather Channel, it is now currently -1 degree Celsius here with a high of 5 degrees Celsius. So, pleasant weather. Yeah, chilly. No, you'll see no snow. Not yet. We haven't had it. And in the forecast, it looks like today is going to be cloudy. Tomorrow, 60% chance of precipitation, which is rain, not snow. And it's going to be relatively warm tomorrow, 1 to 5 degrees. And similar on Wednesday, but with no precipitation. Thursday and Friday are partially cloudy and a little bit cooler. Saturday, sunny and high of 0. And Sunday, partially sunny. There isn't any forecast or any snow in the forecast until about Tuesday of next week. And it looks like a 40% chance. So I don't know. Are we going to have a green Christmas or a white Christmas? I don't care either way. The snow will come, and so will shoveling it and driving it and slush and all the other stuff. It will come. Typically here in the area I live in, we really don't start to get a lot of snow until about January. I don't know if that's global warming or what, because I remember as a kid getting snow in November and a lot of it. And I used to get so excited. And we did have snow in November, the first part of November, if you remember. I showed a little video of it, but of course it was just a dusting, basically, and it disappeared as soon as the sun rose up above the horizon. So, yeah, so today, cold, cloudy, gray, and not just because of the way I took this picture. It's going to be a gray day. All right. Let's move on to other topics. Let's talk about what's pissing me off this week. Okay, this is what got the discussion on Stephen and Walter Live. I got the hiccups again. Is there not a video I make where I don't say I have the hiccups? Drink a coffee. Okay. And so I just want to explain this a little bit more because I think yesterday in the discussion, I may have seemed like a bit of a Scrooge or a Grinch, one or the other, on that. And the discussion yesterday revolved around giving money to charities at this time of the year because everybody has their hand out. Everybody wants you to give them your money. And they have various tactics for doing this. And they usually boil down to making you feel really guilty that, you have this and that and somebody else does not have this. And so share the wealth around. And yeah, okay, I get that. I'm not against giving to charities, but I think you need to be clever about it. I'll give you an example. I'm going to pick on Sick Kids Hospital in Toronto. Now, right off the bat, that's going to make some of you prick up your ears and be very skeptical about what I'm going to say, because Sick Kids Hospital has a wonderful, world-renowned reputation for dealing with children, giving children the proper health care that in other places in the world would cost hundreds of thousands of dollars, and their life-saving surgeries and things like that from the best. And I say, wonderful, bully for them. That's great. However, I don't have any children, so I am a little bit removed from what it might be like to have a seriously ill child. Okay? I'm not heartless to that, but I've never had to experience it. And I really feel for those people that are going through that. However, Sick Kids Hospital is trying to build a new hospital. And they've been running a fundraiser campaign for the last couple of years for this. And that's fine. We need, they got to keep it up. They're a world-renowned hospital. So yeah, they need the facilities to continue their good work. I get that. However, they are constantly asking you for money all the time in various ways. You go to the liquor store, you go to the grocery store. The cashier says, would you like to donate to sick kids? Also, they don't want $1. they have a minimal amount, usually, that they want you to donate, usually $5 to $10. Okay, that's the first problem I have. Shouldn't you, as an organization, appreciate any amount anybody gives? Why are you saying, okay, if you don't give me what we want, then we're not taking it? Right. Okay. Second of all, they have these flashy commercials on TV and on YouTube as well. You may have seen them. And they're very flashy. They're very professional. They're very well done. Obviously, they hired people to make that quality of commercial. Those people do not work for nothing. Now, somebody suggested yesterday that maybe companies donate their time. They might to a certain extent, but I don't think they donate that much because you don't really see any acknowledgement if they have. Like on the commercial saying this commercial, this announcement was brought to you by the generosity of such and such a company. You know what I mean? You don't see that. So I don't think so. Well, making a TV commercial and putting it on the air the number of times that they do, that costs big, big bucks. Then I received in the mail the other day a absolutely gorgeous calendar for next year. Glossy pictures, mind you, with pictures taken of sick children that are staged for these pictures. High quality, glossy paper, whole bit, really nice. I didn't ask for that. Of course, they're sending that to you free to thank you for your continuing support. And they have a suggestion for how you can pledge monthly, like a subscription, money you can give them and how much. And they have suggested amounts, or one yearly donation, or this kind of stuff. No, but you know what they're playing on, and so do the commercials. They're playing on my emotions. They're showing me sick children being brave, in the face of horrible form of cancer they have or something like that, or life-threatening terminal illnesses and stuff like that. And they're making me feel guilty that they gave me this calendar, and so the least I can do is give them something back, give them money. Now, this is where you're going to think that I'm really cruel. What did I do with that calendar? I put it in the recycling bin. There's a waste, and I don't think I'm alone with doing that. At the least, a lot of people don't use paper calendars anymore, so isn't that nice? And I want pictures of children I don't even know hanging on my wall. No, in the recycling it goes. And then I suppose at the max, it's like, no, I am making a statement here. Leave me alone. I'm not giving you any money. I don't care. Okay, those are two extremes. I do care, but I don't care enough to be browbeaten and emotionally held at bay to give this corporation money. And it is a corporation. Walter looked into it. At least 60% of the money that's donated to them goes to administration. At least 60. It might even be higher than that. Because they got to pay for those commercials. They got to pay for those calendars. They have to pay for the people that looks after the administration, all of that. There are all kinds of expenses. And yes, I get it. There are lots of expenses when you're trying to do fundraising. However, do you need to, like 60% to administration? So for every dollar somebody gives, only 40 cents is going into whatever they need to directly help those sick children. And they won't tell you exactly what the breakdown is in the money because they don't want you to know. The only reason we know what we do know is because our government has put regulations on them that they must publicize somewhere, and it's not easy to find it, what the breakdown is of their charitable funds or the money they get, from people giving them money and that kind of thing. And so they're giving you the bare bones of something like that. I get it. There's not enough money in the world for all the charities out there. I guess, though, at this time of the year, we get suckered. We're being told there's other people less fortunate than ourselves, and there are. And, we should be helping them. It's guilt, 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 guilt. They put us on a guilt trip. Well, I refuse to be guilted into this. If I give money to a charity, it's because that's a charity I want to support and I want to give them that money. And if I want to give them $5 or $500, that is my decision. And that decision is based upon my financial situation, and it's based on what I feel I can give and what's appropriate. I do not need to be told what I should give, and I do not need to be guilted into giving it. So, yeah, Christmas, time of giving, bah humbug. Don't be sucked in. My father always said, and you've heard me say this before, charity begins at home. Look around. If you want to give money, if you're in the giving mood this Christmas and you want to give money or support to an organization, look for one on your own doorstep. Look for somebody local. Look within your own family or amongst your friends or your neighbors. That's where I think your charity dollars are going to do the most good. And it doesn't have to be money. You can give somebody something else. You can, somebody said that they are going through a drive-through getting a coffee, and they tell the person at the drive-through, I'm paying for the car behind me. It's a small gesture, but it's a nice gesture. And I'll bet you by doing something like that, it just makes that person in the car behind you's day, because they weren't expecting that. Or as Walter said yesterday, there's been times when he's been in the grocery store and somebody is short to pay at the checkout when it all comes up. Walter just give them the money. It might be a couple of bucks, it might be $5, okay? In the big scheme of things, that doesn't really put a dent into his financial plan, but it made somebody's day as well. And I think that's the kind of charity that means the most. It doesn't break the bank, but it puts a smile on somebody's face. So, yeah, that's what I think is more appropriate at this time of year. You may agree with me, you may differ with me. It's just how I feel. Okay, moving on. Product review. Yeah, I bought something new here. Let me just get out of what I'm in here so I can show you. Just give me a second. Okay, so here we go. I needed a new clock on my bedside table. The clock I have there is falling apart, but I've had it for probably 30 years. It's pretty primitive. And so the other day, Walter's clock on his bedside table had died, so he decided to buy a new one. I don't want to be upstaged by my husband, so I bought a new clock too. And I liked this one when I saw it. And actually, I did not pay that for it. It's amazing what Amazon does, When you go in and buy something once at one price, if you go back again and you press on that, the price is usually a little higher. Kind of weird how that works. Anyways, this is what I bought, a little digital camera. It almost looks like an iPhone on its side, and I think that's on purpose. It has a mirrored surface, and yeah, it's working out pretty good. I think I paid $20 for it. I think it's gone up about 5 or 20. I think I paid $19.99 for it. Anyways, when I first got it, it felt kind of cheap. It's very light, but I thought I'd give it a go. Well, after fooling around, the controls, of course, are written in broken Chinese. You know what I mean. And I did figure out how to set it and everything like that. And actually, I'm kind of liking it right now. It has 2 USB ports on the side. So supposedly you could plug in, your cell phone or something else that charge from USB. And, at night, I don't think they're very strong. I think it may take a long time for this device to charge up an external device. But I didn't buy it for that, but it's nice to have that, this would be great if you're traveling, because the little base on it, the little base on it's a little cheap. It just fits into 2 slots and it doesn't even lock in there. So if you pick if you pick up the clock from the table you have it on, that little leg piece will drop out. So as I said, it feels cheap, but it's doing a good job. It has an automatic setting for dimming or brightening the display depending on the light in the room. And so when you can also adjust it for a automatic cycle of, so much time where you want to be dimmer, like at night when you're sleeping. I have found that just leaving it on the automatic setting for that works out very well. Um, it's also kind of weird. It's haunted. Yeah, because in the middle of the night, I'll wake up and I look over at the clock and it sort of brightens up so I can see the display. I turn my head away from it and it dims down again. I don't know why it does that or how it does it. It's a mystery to me. Either that or I'm half asleep when I'm looking at it, and that's why it's doing that. I think it's doing that. Anyways, it's okay. As I said, it's a little cheap in terms of its construction, but these kind of electronics are basically disposable, aren't they? So, I mean, I wasn't going to spend hundreds of dollars on a bedside clock. In fact, I could probably just use my iWatch. It's sitting right there too on a stand for charging it at night. All I have to do is reach over and give it a little tap and it will tell me the time. Um, but no, I didn't do that. Okay, so that's one thing new that I bought. Um, so let's take a look at, now I got to find it. So how are my grow lights doing, you may ask? Well, look at this. This is coming along great. In the back, we have lettuce. Well, you can see it over to the right-hand side. Our herbs are growing up. The basil has gotten so tall, it's touching the top of the canopy. Walter has to keep raising that up. This is working out really good. But the one thing I'm going to be really interested in is once the lettuce gets a little bigger, where it's the size where we can actually harvest some of it and eat it, we'll see how that works out. And I think, too, what we might do, well, I haven't discussed this with Walter. This is kind of his toy. He looks after the gardening of this. That maybe there are some herbs we have in here that we should replace with more lettuce, because chives and tarragon, I think we have in there. We don't use that a lot in things. So we could, not worry about those until next summer and just put in more lettuce. The basil and the oregano I will use, so we'll leave that. But, we could free up a couple of those other pots and just start growing more and more lettuce, because I do enjoy my salad with fresh lettuce. It's even better if you grow it yourself. You want to talk about organic? No pesticides are used here, nothing. So we'll see. It's still an ongoing experiment, but it's working right out. I've even sort of hinted at Walter that maybe we should invest in a second one. I think maybe after Christmas in the new year. I know a spot where I think we could put it that would be convenient, and maybe just, grow more stuff kind of a thing. We'll see. But anyways, yeah, this is working out really, really well and very easy to maintain because there's a pad underneath all those little pots you see in there, and you just keep that moist. That's how you water it. It keeps the plants on osmosis, I guess you call it. It sucks the water up through the bottom of those pots from this pad, and you just keep that wet, and you don't really have to do any kind of major watering. So yeah, really good little device. Nice experiment. Okay, so that takes me to the 3D corner. Okay, I'm going to put together the gnome chessboard today, so I will have that to show you next week. I have finally printed the 64 2-inch squares that are going to make up the chessboard itself. I don't even play chess. Why am I doing this? Because somebody suggested it, and I found the gnome things, and you know me and gnomes. And so, yeah, I'm doing that. So that'll be probably next week. I will show that to you. But speaking about experiments and things, I did buy a new little device. I'm just getting it up here to show you. I bought something called an Eleveler for my 3D printers. Now, you've heard me talk about and swear about, leveling your bed. And really, you have to have a leveled bed. Um, if you, you know, if you want to have any success with 3D printing. And it's a bitch, quite frankly. Well, there's this little device. I have seen it before, but I never bought one. And I'm taking a look at the price of this right now, and I think I paid more than that. No, I didn't. I probably paid about that. Yeah, for this. This is a really simple little device. The guy who invented it has a YouTube channel. I think it's called Chip, something like that, CHEP. And you can see here on the back of it, it has a battery holder with a, one of those round batteries. I think it's a 2016 coin battery. And it's got a little button. It's a little pressure sensitive switch. And the way this thing works is, you see the crosshairs at the bottom? You put this underneath the nozzle of your filament extruder, and you just adjust your bed, raise it or lower it, so the nozzle touches that. And when there's enough pressure on it, the little LED light here at the back lights up. And then you move on to, you do this at the four corners of your bed. Now, it did come with a little, what they call a G-code program that you put into a little card that goes into your printer, and it's supposed to automatically move the head of your printer, the nozzle, to each of those four corners. But it waits 20 seconds. I find 20 seconds isn't enough for me to get this little device underneath there and to turn the knobs underneath to get it leveled. So that frustrated me, but I figured out a way to do it without using that little program. And yeah, that's how it looks like. It's a really simple little device. If you were somebody who knew how to do electronics, this picture here shows you what you do. You're sticking it underneath there, and you adjust the knobs that are underneath that bed. And as I said, when the light comes on, you've got it leveled. You move on to the next one. So I've been playing with it, and it does work. It actually works. At one point, I was thinking, I wasted my money on this, but I don't think I did. Once I figured out what I was doing. Instructions for this make it sound that it's really easy, and it is, but they're bare bone instructions. I mean, the guy who invented it, he has a video about how to use it and everything like that. But if you have a 3D printer and you're having trouble getting it level, then this will help. Will it be like really, really easy? No. There's some tinkering. But less tinkering I found with this once I figured out the way to do it than using the little piece of paper idea for it. And if you're not a 3D printer, you will have no idea what I'm talking about. But if you are, you know what I'm talking about. So yeah, that was one of the toys that I bought. And then I bought another toy, and this one I'm not sure about. Now, I did not pay what they're saying here. I paid a lot less than that. I paid about about $50, almost $60 less than that. And I just bought it like last week. It came yesterday. So I don't know why they're putting their price like that. This is nuts. But anyways, this is a little box. It is wireless. You can plug your 3D printer in it, and there's an app for your phone where you can do all kinds of things from your phone with your 3D printer. But the reason I bought it was because it comes with this camera. Now, you have to use their camera. It's dedicated to this. Charities is the name of the company that makes my Ender 3 printers. And they're very, very popular in the 3D printing world. And they're getting a little better with stuff as time goes by. It took me a while to figure out how to set up the camera, although it did have instructions that seemed very simple, but I wasn't getting things to work yet, and I'm still not happy with this. I got it because I thought I could do time-lapse photography with this camera. That's what they tout that you can. I have a feeling you can, but you need to have their premium service, and their premium service is a subscription service, and you know how I feel about subscription services for parts. I do not want to be perpetually paying for something that I have bought outright. So today, part of my plan for today, after I finish the vlog, is to look into this a little further and get comfortable with its use and put it through its paces. But anyways, yeah. So you might want to, if you have never seen this before in your 3D printer, and you can use it on other printers. It's not just limited to the Ender line of printers. I would suggest you hold off. Watch more. There are YouTube videos about this. Study them a little bit more. And look for the best price, because that price that Amazon has right now, like I said, it was $50 more than I paid for it. But before you invest in it, you know, I'm an impulse buyer. I admit it, and it was an impulse. I saw one video about it, didn't even see it out of the box. Immediately went looking for it, found it on Amazon, bought it. As I said, I don't know if it's going to do what I was thinking it will do, and I don't know if it's worth the effort. We'll see. I'll let you know what happens with my experiments with that. Okay. So that's some new things I've been doing with the 3D printing. And that takes me to blasts from the past. I didn't mean that word. Blasts from the past trips. That's what I'm trying to say. You know what I need? More lip balm. Yeah, so soft, so subtle. Okay, this is Sydney, March the 2nd, 2018, part 1. So we've now returned from Perth back to Sydney. Okay, so we're on the streets of Sydney and kind of walking around where we've walked before when we were here a year ago. And there's this little mall in here. It's Victorian Mall. It's kind of neat inside. I do have a video of this from last year on my YouTube station, but you can check this out today too. What's your? Yeah. The what? Oh. Yeah, I see it. There. Oh. Okay, so while we're in Sydney right now, it's the tail end of their Mardi Gras, which is what we would call Gay Pride. And you can see that some of the stores, Myers is a major store, department store. It's decked out in the Pride colors as well. So the weekend we're here, this is Friday. Tomorrow night is their big parade. It'll be a zoo. We're going to wander up to the gay district later today, see what's happening up there. But not anticipating that we're going to get much into anything, and during the parade we probably won't even see the parade because it will probably be pretty much a lot of people. It's not as big as Toronto's, but it's pretty big here. And this is a big year for it too, for a couple of reasons. One is the 40th anniversary of when they had their very first Mardi Gras, and also they just put into legislation at the end of 2017 same-sex marriage. So I have a feeling it's going to be a big celebration this year. This is Pitt Street. It's a pedestrian mall. And again, we were here last year. Except last year we were here around Christmas and then Boxing Day, and there was every Asian was shopping at all the high-end stores here for like 10% off the product. What's 10% off product? Not enough. That's what it is. Okay, so we're down here at the Sydney Harbour, and there's a cruise ship in, a Princess one, and that's the Harbour Bridge, and just around this corner is the Opera House.
And here's what you've all been waiting for, the iconic Sydney Opera House. And the bridge is over there. We walked that last year, Christmas Day, and Santa was at the top. I have a video of that. Check it out in my last year's pictures of Australia. That's part of a big botanical garden that's huge. And the city skyline. So in preparation for the parade tomorrow night, they have floats in it, and here's one of the floats right here. This is the middle. Kind of neat. See the float in front of the real thing. So we've been through here before too, but this is a botanical garden, park, whatever you want to call it. It's a very large one. There's different sections of it. Again, I have a video about this from last year's trip, so check them out. Check out last year's Australian trip.
Sunny.
It was sunnier, yeah, Walter says. Today is sort of semi-overcast a little bit. And actually they're predicting rain for this week. Hope not. Can't rain when we're on holidays. It's not allowed.
I think it's more like
Storms?
yeah,
But isolated showers? We'll see. And again, one of these black and white birds that are everywhere in Australia.
No, we haven't seen a lot of those other ones. They were kind of bulbous with the long pointed nose.
Oh, with the little, look like a snipe of something.
Yeah.
Oh, maybe. Maybe the Corellas drove them out.
Maybe.
More of the park. You can see it's right adjacent right to the city itself, downtown. Next to the Opera House, Walter says. And of course, it seems in Australia and every one of the cities we've been to, they're very big on park areas, green areas within their cities.
Which is nice. It gives you a nice
Yeah.
area to
Kind of makes the city look a little like cleaner and a little bit nicer. Although all the cities we've been to in Australia have all been very, very clean. Flew away. I scared the... And here's a whole bunch of cockatoos. Then there's these strange creatures, which I think are called ibises or something he called it. Not sure if I've got that quite right, the name of it.
free floral
And that takes me to events in the past week. Well, of course, the house is now decorated for Christmas. Yay. Glad that's over with. Now I have the fine job of looking forward to taking it all down and packing it away. Yeah. Well, that doesn't come for a while. Anyways, the house looks nice. And I did a whole video on So Chatty last week showing you all the decorations. I am not an interior designer. I stick stuff where I think it's going to look good. And I don't have a color scheme or a theme. Okay? It's just me. If I had to say what my my aesthetic is, I would call myself eclectic vintage country mess. Yeah, that's what I'd call it. But anyways, they're up and it looks nice. Talked about the unboxing of 2 Advent calendar box kind of things, one from Missouri Star Quilt. You will see that video on Wednesday. And on Stephen Walter Live, already mentioned this. I talked about the sack that this came in. And the other things there from Quilter Quilting, one of my favorite quilting stores in my area. Okay, so that's about it. Didn't do anything else last week. Well, working on some experiments with my serger. I'm doing a lot of experimenting these days. So if you want to know about that, tune into the Quilter tomorrow. And of course, what's coming up, Craft and Chat, as I already mentioned, this Wednesday, December the 7th, 1 p.m. Be there, be square. And I'm going to another sew day at the club in the area. Was at one last month. Thoroughly enjoyed it. Got some stuff done. Not a lot of people there, but that was okay. And we've got another one scheduled for this Saturday, so I'll be doing that then. Yeah, so that's about it for me this week. I hope you have a great week, and you know, don't get guilted into giving your money away at this time of the year. Give to your friends, give to your family. They're number 1 on your list. And we'll see you next week. Bye for now.